Welcome to Indie Thursday. I just wanted to take a quick look at Shadow of Death. This isn't obviously an independent film. It's basically a no-budget feature. The director and all of his friends basically just pitched in, worked as hard as they could. The film is obviously a labor of love, and it really does show. It's somewhat of a nod at slasher films, maybe just a little bit of grindhouse. We do have some humor, very dark humor. We do have somewhat of a gathering of misfits and offbeat type characters. One of the characters is himself. I find him just very amusing. He's obviously in a group of women. He's the only male present, and I just find it absolutely hilarious that he constantly refers to the women whenever they do not want to do something. He constantly refers to them as pussies. That's a bit redundant, wouldn't you say? They are women. But the film does make several nods at horror films. There are some giallo elements thrown in. There is also, it has somewhat of a feel of that a cab thriller or out in the woods type slasher, maybe possibly reminiscent of Evil Dead or something along the lines of Friday the 13th. But I definitely do not want to give too much away about the killer or how he ties in with one of the characters. I really do not want to give that away. If you do have the fortune to be able to watch the film, then you are definitely in for a treat. It really is a great film. And the film itself was shot on a Panasonic SD60. It does not at all have the look of a homemade movie. It's very polished. It has a very clean, crisp look. There's definitely a lot of effort to have the color correction made. It does have some soundtrack music provided as well, very limited of course, but the film itself is actually a very interesting little feature. It does start off with a group of friends heading out to the woods to pick up some weed for one of their friends. For some odd reason, there is a robed man out in the woods. He's been picking off the group members little by little, and what's funny is the fact that the film itself does make reference to several slashers. One of the characters in the film actually does compare him to Ghostface from Scream, which is something I myself had actually thought of, but we do realize later on that he is somewhat of a crazed minister who has been leading somewhat of a hermit life out in the woods. There really is no reason for these murders, killings. He's just basically at random doing this. Unfortunately, since the film has not reached any distribution, it's still making the rounds as far as film festivals, has not picked up a distributor, so I do not have any still images or posters to show you. I do apologize for that. But if you are interested, please head over to his YouTube channel. That would be Shadow of Death 2012. There's tons of interesting stuff. You can take a look at some interview footage. There's a lot of outtakes. There's some teaser trailers. There's tons of good stuff there to keep you entertained. There is also a Twitter account. If you have Twitter, you'd like to follow that, I will go ahead and post that link for you as well. But the film itself is it's definitely very in-depth. It's very interesting. It's a very good story. I was contacted a few months ago, asked to do a review for this for when the film was finally in its post-production stages. So I did have the pleasure of taking a look at this film. It is definitely worth the watch, but it is definitely a great film. There are a lot of outrageous kill scenes. Some of them are very dark humored. I really don't want to tell too much. I don't want to tell too much about the story, but it is definitely well worth it. You can tell definitely there was a lot of time and effort and a lot of love that went into the making of this film. But once again, if you do want to just follow the progress or keep track, I will go ahead and in the description bar provide links to the Twitter as well as the YouTube. But that is pretty much all I have for you today, and I will talk to you later.